Hoi there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to a new Football Talks. I am joined by Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Hey, hey, hey!
We have reached double-digit weeks at long last. We're on to week 10. But let's take a look back at week 9 and let's get started at the dog pound, or excuse me, I'm sorry, Cleveland fans. I was mistaken. Let me read off the sign you hung 2 weeks ago at your stadium. This is the Kapadawand. That's what it is. The Gepardawand. That's the true name of the stadium. I'm sorry, guys. I'll never mix it up again. I promise. Just for you.
AK,
So at the
AK.
Gepardawand, the Dallas Cowboys came, saw, and wrecked. They massacred Cleveland. PETA is reported to be on the case because they don't like mass murder of dogs. Because this was horrible for a Cleveland fan to see. It was no shutout. But oh my god, things could not have gotten any worse for them. Right, Bill?
Right. I mean, that game was a complete and utter domination by the Dallas Cowboys. They just controlled every area of the game on Cleveland. They couldn't move the football. They couldn't defend the football. Could Cleveland? They're well. They're well on their way towards my 0-16 prediction.
Let's hope it comes true for your sake, Bill. But I'm surprised that these guys couldn't put up any more of a fight. They're just so missing on pieces, and Jamie Collins didn't do anything. I will, in his defense, this was, he had less than a week to practice for this. But
Right.
So far, Bill Belichick probably has a smug look on his face, and oh boy, he looks like a genius because he is a genius, I suppose. He knows what he's doing. I would say 95% of the time. But
Never get on Bill Belichick's bad side
oh yeah, well
or the
he'll kick you,
Patriots'
and you
bad
see
side.
him even when you saw him that even when they were just getting dominated, Jamie Collins is just still smiling, just like aha, this is nothing, I don't care. It's like that's probably why Belichick got rid of you.
Yeah.
It's every
I
year
mean,
Belichick always does this to a player to make a statement.
yeah. Going 0-9 is not acceptable as a team, and they came out flat, and Cleveland came out flat against the Dallas Cowboys. They just flat out did not come out to play.
Yeah, but so Bill, how about them Cowboys? How do you think they did on offense?
Well, I think they did amazingly well, and they really didn't show any reason to put Tony Romo back in.
He's not coming out.
Obviously, he's not coming out, but I mean, there's no reason right now that you break up that chemistry. There's just no reason to. I mean, if you lose a game, then you could make a case for it. Like, oh,
Bill,
okay,
they
we
could lose
lost
a
the game
close
now.
one and it won't change anything. It would take a shutout to
Right. I
maybe
mean,
consider Romo, but I don't think they still will do that.
I would say it would take a 3 interception game where he looks like a rookie to take him out of that game. And overall, I think the offense did pretty dang
You know
well.
what's
And
the worst
here's
part, Bill? The Cowboys have a legit shot at this because there's just two good teams in the NFC North and everything else is a mess. Football's quality has degraded. Meanwhile, in baseball, it just got revived by the Cubs winning the World Series. Like I feel like baseball, like basketball a couple years ago when the Warriors won, just brought a resurgence to
right.
the sport when it was declining a bit.
I mean, if you really look at young players in the NFL, who do you really look at that's really a dominant player in the NFL? And the answer is that there is none right now.
Well,
I
in terms
mean,
of rookies, we have two right now, and they
I
play on the
mean,
same team.
Dak Prescott, sure, that's an exciting prospect. Ezekiel Elliott's an exciting prospect,
Oh
but
yeah.
is that going to energize the entire country for football?
Oh, it's the
Whereas,
Cowboys, Bill. That's the Cowboys factor you got to consider.
I mean, I'll be brutally honest. You need more than two teammates from one team, and preferably you would want to have two rookies in the same division that are great playing each other
Well,
as
Bill,
well.
just look at it like this. If the Cowboys won the Super Bowl this year with rookies, that's not only history making, but the Cowboys bandwagon and the Cowboys franchise makes so much money. I would think after 20 years that would make some resurgence, you know. It ain't
Oh
no
yeah,
Detroit Lions or Cleveland Browns winning their first ever title, which Cleveland winning a title feels like a pipe dream again after that
well
embarrassing
they've
3-1 lead blowout by the Cleveland Indians.
I mean, the issue is that I honestly believe if the NFL, and this is more systemic of just overall current feeling in the NFL, really the names that you've grown accustomed to, Manning, Brady, those have been the faces of the NFL forever, and
Yeah.
now they don't have that.
Well, they still have
Minus
Brady.
Brady, minus Brady.
Brady is the goat. He is the end. To me, if he wins this Super Bowl this year, I say he's end of discussion, no room for debate, goat. Because tell me who has numbers like him, and who has 5 rings like him. I am
Right,
listening for counter arguments, and
right.
I don't think I'll hear one that's reasonable within the first 5 minutes. It would take a while to really think of a good
I
argument.
mean,
But
I
but
mean, even
Joe
if he gets to a,
Montana, I hear you say no. But
I
anyway,
mean, even if he gets to an AFC title game, that's what 10 AFC title games.
in a row, what?
That's
I mean,
crazy.
again, does Joe Montana have 10 straight title games? Does
Especially
I'm trying to think
in
of
the
other.
salary cap era. That's the other thing, you know. I mean, the Cowboys were really the last team of uh the pre-salary cap era. I mean, they built their team in the salary cap, but it was near the beginning of the salary cap where they could build that team and
Yeah,
be a,
now I
a, a
say good luck
dynasty
with
for
that.
years.
I mean, we're not
Being a
baseball, Bill.
dynasty now is almost impossible in football.
Well, yeah, unless you have players who are like, I'm fine with not getting as much money, which that is easier said than done.
Right,
But anyway, to get back to this game, Jason Witten had a wake up call. He got 2 touchdowns. I would say they're mostly easy.
right. Oh yeah, that there was a one wide open. I mean, all you needed to do was just play catch in the backyard, and you could have caught a ball about like
Bill, I don't know if you
freaking
know what
Jason Witten got.
Whataburger is, but Whataburger's a restaurant. I had some today, actually. And Whataburger is a 24-hour a day burger joint, and this is what they tweeted. Whataburger is open 24 hours a day, but we're not as open as Jason Witten has been today.
Right? I mean, literally, he was so wide open for two touchdown catches. It was pathetic, and the Browns played pathetic
Because Bill,
defense.
the Browns have struggled covering good tight ends. I mean, did you not see the Patriots go there with Gronk?
Right?
Because
Martellus Bennett.
what?
Martellus Bennett in that same game. They
Yeah,
were they
they
were just lighting them up.
the Patriots exposed that they can't cover a good tight end for the life of them. And honestly, if you have a tight end starting against the Cleveland Browns, you should probably start them because they're probably going to get some good yardage. But
Right.
Bill, who do you think will win the Offensive Rookie of the Year? Since we're the halfway mark,
Right.
Elliott or
Right.
Prescott? I'm pretty sure Prescott will because he's a quarterback and a fourth rounder. But it's
I
up in
would
the air.
say
What, Bill?
I would say oh, that's hard. I would say Ezekiel Elliott right now. Yes. Because if you take Ezekiel Elliott out of that offense, that whole offense would collapse. If you took Dak
I would
Prescott,
debate that because I think Alfred Morris is a solid enough running back.
but
So
if you take Dak Prescott out of that offense, In a Tony Romo type situation, that offense would be, I would say it would be about similar.
Well, if you replace
It
them
would
now,
just
you can't put Romo in, even if you think he's ready,
no, oh
unless.
no.
So that means you have to put the butt fumble guy in there, Mr. Butt Fumbled Mark Sanchez. So I don't know about that.
Right.
That's what I say. I mean, I would think taking out Prescott is more dangerous than taking out Elliott. But that's just me.
I think taking out either of them is pretty dangerous. To be fair, I would just say that since Ezekiel Elliott's having a season unlike any other rookie has had at his position, is he's more apt to get it than Dak. Whereas we've seen this story before with Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, you know, where a rookie comes in and plays well at quarterback. We haven't really seen that at running back, unless you look in the distant past with Eric Dickerson or Jim Brown.
Or a certain Oiler,
What's his name?
Earl Campbell. You forget about Earl Campbell, Bill?
To be fair, I never grew up with Oilers football.
I didn't, but I know about him. I seen him play. I saw him mow down various players like they were just grass, and he was the lawnmower,
Oh yeah,
and it was running on its own.
yeah, that was the era of power backs. Earl
I miss that
Campbell
era.
of the world,
That
Walter Payton.
Yeah. But anyway, Bill, I don't know if there's much else to say about the Cowboys. They beat a very bad team. Uh, And this week they go to Pittsburgh, which even with Big Ben, I'm not sure if they will have a problem. Because, oh man, I don't like these Steelers right now. But to be fair, the AFC North, I know a lot of people are like, oh, the AFC South's worst division. But let me ask you this. I mean, the Texans have a better record than all of them. 5-3. And the worst
Right?
team is the Jaguars. They have 2 wins, whereas the Browns have nothing. If we take their
Nothing.
combined win-losses, I think that the South has barely more than the AFC North. So can you really say that the AFC South is garbage? Because they're not alone. Their parallel group to the north of them is just as bad, if you ask me. And that's because they all have franchise quarterbacks minus the Browns. That's just sad. It's disappointing. AFC North has always been this hyped up. Well, we're the greatest division because we're so competitive, minus the Browns. You know, like they carry with the Browns, and we're always the best. But not anymore, because that's to the West. The AFC West is the best division right now, Bill, and I don't think there's room for debate on that. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Speaking of the North, Bill, we had an NFC North showdown. Bill,
Yes, we did.
this game, 23 seconds. Even I thought it was over. I was like, there's no way Stafford's going to do it. There's no way. But he does it. Is able to spike the ball with 2 seconds left on the clock. And then Matt Prater, 58-yard field goal. It's good. Ties the game. First drive. Lions get the ball. And what does Stafford do? Somehow he takes a huge risk, throwing into double coverage to Golden Tate. Golden Tate breaks off both of them, and then just jumps into the end zone, slamming the safety that got in his way.
Right. I mean,
It feels familiar, Bill. This felt like last week's, well, the week before. I mean, when the Raiders, Seth Roberts got that overtime winning touchdown, breaking 2 tackles at the same time and running all the way.
right. I mean, and you described it perfectly because I did not expect them to win that game.
Nobody expected them to win, and they had a lead for most of the game. They were in control somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, overall, the Lions played a really good game against the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings drove down the field at the end of the game. Like we always know that's going to happen with the Lions, and they score and take the late lead. And I just thought, oh, here we go again. This is another, Houston Texans situation. But the difference is I just never feel like we're out of a game anymore. Whereas in the past when this would happen with the Lions, I always kind of felt like we were out of the game even if we had Stafford. But now I think the climate in Detroit's starting to change because we're starting to see fruit on the tree, so to say, that we are getting wins when we should be losing games. And those are the style of games that build character on your team.
Yeah. Fun fact, Bill, Anquan Bolden has a really good rating for a 34-year-old wide receiver. 134, I want to say his rating is. That's surprising. You don't see that with old players. I'm certain Andre Johnson wished he had that while he was with the Titans, although not anymore.
Right.
But Bill, these Lions, I think they're not even complete, Bill. I don't think Abdullah's gonna come back in time. I think he's out indefinitely for the year.
Right. Yes.
But I just wish if you had him, you might be. What I want to say.
They would be a scary offense.
Yeah, I think they probably would have won a game that they lost.
Right.
Probably the Titans.
Look at the Titans game. Really, look at the Green Bay game. Who on Green Bay would have been able to match up with Amir Abdullah? I don't think anyone would have. If you really look at the Houston Texans game, we could have used him in the screen pass, slow down the rush, and just keep throwing screens on him to Amir Abdullah. That way, Jadeveon Clowney's not in our face. This team just feels different than other Lions teams in the past when they're down. I just feel like it's never over. And I'm kind of glad that I've gotten to see actually decent, Detroit Lions team. Do I feel like they're a playoff team in the North? I don't know.
Well, Bill, look, it's debatable now because they won.
Right.
Because they won, because they beat a division rival, and this one was the leader at the moment, still is, because they have one loss less because they had a bye, and the Lions haven't, which they're about to get a bye.
Yeah. Here's the other thing is they've lost all their leads in the fourth quarter. They could have won.
Well, they've also won all their games in the fourth quarter. They haven't had a comfy lead that they sat on for the rest of the game, and it wasn't really in control. They haven't had a dominant performance yet, which I think as long as they can show one good dominant performance, Bill, I feel like they could win a playoff game. If they don't, I'm not sure if they will, depending on who they play. Because if they play, I don't know, I can't think of an example. But if they play, you know what? I'm not about to think of an example because the NFC is so clustered and bad. Because there's the few good NFC teams like the Cowboys, the Falcons, and the Seahawks. But after that, it's kind of a clusterfuck of who is in and who isn't.
Yeah, and I honestly believe 9-7 is going to be both of the playoff spots. 9-7 will be good, and if you can get to 10-6, you'll be even better.
Yeah, and, I'm pretty sure.
We're halfway there.
I'm pretty sure home field advantage will not happen because that's probably going to the Cowboys or the Falcons because those two I think are getting the byes. I think both of them are getting the byes because the Falcons are running away with the NFC South. The Panthers can try all they can to claw their way back up, but as long as the Falcons don't match them in losses, they've got this, Bill. I think.
Oh, yeah.
There's not much in that division that could stop the Falcons, I think. Because the Falcons already beat the Panthers once, splitting with them isn't the worst thing in the world as long as you take out the Saints again. But
Right, yes.
anyway, so Bill, these Lions, Golden Tate looks like he's having more fun every week. A little more. He's starting to get a little too showboaty for my taste. But hey, when that was the touchdown that won you the game, I say go ahead.
Right.
Like I just don't want another Odell Beckham on my hands. But I don't. I don't like Odell Beckham because his showboatiness.
Right, yeah.
He takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
It's not good. But anyway, Bill. So. Anything else to add about the Lions? I mean, the only thing I would say is Stafford is already back in there for MVP race because you took a win from the jaws of defeat from Minnesota. In Minnesota, you're the first team to write your name on the walls. Like, yeah, we're the first one to beat them in their new stadium. This is our house now.
Yes. And I'll put it this way. It's a statement win towards the rest of the NFC North. And let's not that was their first division win.
Yeah.
And
Let's not forget this. The Packers have lost too. The Lions have a better record than the Packers now.
Yes. I mean, the Packers are below the Lions, and it feels so good that halfway through the season that the Green Bay Packers are in third place in the division.
Yes,
Right ahead of the Bears. I mean, but I'll put it this way. The thing is I feel like this was a statement win towards the rest of the NFC North. Like, we're here and we're coming. It's only a matter of time until we get DeAndre Levy back. It's only a matter of time we get Darius Slay.
You're getting Slay back for the next game. That's a guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of rest at the perfect time, and once the defense gets healthy, it's not exactly going to be an easy team to play.
Yep, Bill. Like, look, because you have the Jaguars after your bye, and then the Vikings at home for Thanksgiving. You shut out the Vikings. You sweep them. Very good position to win the division. That's 2 wins, I think, that are easily winnable. Then you have the Saints, which it may be at the Saints, but I think they can take one over there. If the Raiders could do it, so could the Lions. Bears, you're home to the Bears. That one is winnable. The Giants, I don't know about that, and the Cowboys are starting to make me question my Lions-Cowboys pick, but I think that the Lions should get their revenge that week. And then home to Packers, you could very well win almost all of these games. Because your last games, more than 4 out of 7 are home, and that's good. And the last one is at home.
I mean, and very possibly it could determine if the Lions make it to the playoffs or not.
Yep, and so let's hope, Bill, Sunday Night Football with the Packers. You know what I'd like to see, actually? I'd like to see if they maybe flex the... I need to make sure of this. That I want to see if they flex the Week 15 game. I want to see what the Sunday Night Football for Week 15 is. Because if it's not a good game, I'm going to suggest that they flex in the Giants-Lions game. Oh yeah, please do. Please do. Because, Bill, I don't like this one for the Week 15. It's Steelers at the Bengals. That's not good. Let's flex in, Bill. Let's start the whispers for Lions-Giants for Sunday Night Football.
I mean, you never know.
I mean,
it really all depends how the season goes.
Well, look, Bill. Look at how bad those two are. Their AFC North, as I mentioned, was shit. It's not good. It's debatable between them and the South, but I think they're both bad, and they don't deserve any primetime games anymore. They're done. I would much rather because I know for a fact that the CBS is not letting go of Patriots Broncos for 4:30. So how about you take Lions Giants? I'm just saying, Bill. I think that one would be fun, considering there haven't been many good down to the wire down to the wire games on Sunday Night Football. This one probably will, since the Lions are involved.
Right.
But anyway, I think let us move on. I want to mention this game because Bill, these Raiders are for real. These Raiders beat the Super Bowl champions 30-20. It wasn't even close.
I don't think it was close at all. I mean, we really saw which team was the better team. And everyone picked against the Raiders.
You did too, Bill. I'm sorry, Bill. You did too.
I did too. I'll lump myself in there. We all picked against the Raiders. I didn't believe in.
I stuck with my guns, Bill. I love this team. They're so fun.
I thought they were going to have a hard time, being that it was their first home game on Sunday Night Football in a very long time.
In the black hole, too. Can't forget about that.
Definitely in the black hole. I mean, it's their first game in a long time there. I mean, they haven't been relevant for a very long time, and I thought they might come out a little overamped and play poorly.
Yeah, but I think that I just think it seems Latavius Murray likes to play really good in prime time. I mean, the last primetime game he was in that he woke up towards was against the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. Ran for over 100 yards, and then today, the Raiders running back core altogether put over 200 yards rushing. No team has done that. You see other teams with really good running backs not even scratch 100, not even get close to it. But then the Raiders, all the core, combined 218, I think is the exact number, against this supposed best defense in the NFL. That's not to say that Von Miller and the rest of the line was shit. They got to Carr a couple times. Von Miller got his sack of the week, which seems almost, it's a gimme to him. That's what it feels like most weeks. But, here's the thing. That line didn't break, but on the other side of the ball, the Raiders line and the Raiders defense in general is just getting better. They were in Simeon's face. They show that this guy isn't really a franchise QB at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos benched him later on in the year. I don't think now, because look, if you benched him now, you could start Paxton Lynch against a squishy Saints team. That's very nice. But I think they're gonna see Simeon. If Simeon can't put points against this Saints defense, they're probably gonna switch. Because I would say switch now, but I understand. You want to make sure you've exhausted all you can out of Simeon. Like, if you can't score against a bad defense, you don't deserve to be on the starting job. I can see that. Because Kubiak is a smart coach. You know how much I miss Kubiak and Wade Phillips.
Right.
I miss those two. But they're doing good over there, and as much as I hate the Broncos fan base, they're the only two people I truly respect in Denver.
Right. And I'll put it this way. The other thing with Denver is that I think going into this season, that defense, which lost some pieces, is vastly overrated.
They miss Malik Jackson.
Yes.
And Malik Jackson isn't even a lead player. Like, he's not one you build a defense around. But he was meant to be that around piece. Does that make sense? Like, you build a defense around Von Miller. He was meant to support Von Miller and get hits where Von Miller can't.
Yeah, he was a disruptive piece. Another one that doesn't get talked about, I don't think. I think he's off the team, is Danny Trevathan, the linebacker.
I think he's gone.
Danny Trevathan was a damn good linebacker for that team.
And now he's gone. But a lot of Denver pieces were gone, and they missed them. And then Aqib Talib was out. He could be out for a while because his back. If there's no progress on his back, he may miss more games. I don't think he'll be out for the year. I think he'll come back in maybe December. But they really did miss him in this game, I think, because Amari Cooper and Seth Roberts had their way with the defense. The only one who had troubles was Crabtree. They covered up Crabtree because I think the Broncos defense was a little more... Yeah, Crabtree has become their clutch go-to player. He has been their safety net most games, so take him out. They took him out, but it left Amari Cooper and Seth Roberts. It was a matter of pick your poison. Who will you shut out, but leave the other ones against third string, fourth string, or a fifth string cornerback? The Broncos line or the Broncos secondary, for all the praise it has, it doesn't have much depth. It needs depth, and it didn't. And this is the consequence. A true championship team will have depth. You see it in basketball with last year's Warriors, which now they're gone. They have no depth. And last year's Spurs, or pretty much the Spurs every year, because the Spurs always have depth.
Or even Cleveland last year, they had depth.
Yeah, a championship team needs depth. You need people to play when your stars are on their breaks. When they are not playing, when they are too tired, when they need to sit out for a couple plays, you need these guys to come in and be maybe not as disruptive, but make enough of an impact until the big guy comes in.
Yeah.
But, Bill, Derek Carr at the end of the game got also shout-outs for MVP, and I don't see why people are still denying. It's like, here's the thing. The pundits would say, the Raiders aren't for real because they haven't beaten a big team. You beat the Super Bowl fucking champions. Now, let me ask you this. Is there still room saying that... I'm not saying he's guaranteed that thing, but is there still things you should say to say he doesn't deserve that, or he doesn't deserve a shot at least? Because all I'm asking for, at least let him be on the fucking ballot for those 50 people to decide on. Because I think the MVP candidates, I would say this year, are him, Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan, and Tom Brady. Right. I don't know who will win, but they so far are the best players in the league right now.
Derek Carr.
Yeah, I understand, Bill. Well, he learned all the mistakes from his brother, or he learned off his brother's mistakes, like I keep saying. All the problems David Carr had, Derek Carr doesn't. Now, what are you trying to say, Bill?
Derek Carr is a legit quarterback on a legit team that deserves legitimate praise and commendation. He is a legitimate threat at quarterback.
Yeah, everyone.
It's time the league recognizes that Derek Carr this year is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers this year. He is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. He is a better quarterback than Andrew Luck. He is a better quarterback than Cam Newton. He's a better quarterback than Carson Palmer. Derek Carr is a better quarterback, and he's one of the top 3 right now.
I think he is in the top 5 because I have Brady, Ryan, and Stafford. I have Stafford because his clutch performances have been... there have been more of him, and I know he has some losses, but remember that their team is so banged up. But the offensive side of things for the Raiders has been healthy. But they're just going to get better from here, I think. I know I follow a Chiefs fan. He's like, reminder that we beat them at their place, and they got to play us later. So I'm not going to bequeath the AFC West to them because I still think the Chiefs are going to win it, but the Raiders are going to probably be the 5th wild card spot and probably roast the Texans or the Ravens, whoever they play. I still think the Chiefs will win the division because the Chiefs haven't lost a game since their bye week. Again, they're doing it again, Bill, where after the bye, they come out red hot and massacre everybody until they run into the Patriots and get massacred themselves. That's what it looks like right now. So I'm not discounting the Chiefs. So yeah, Chiefs fans, don't worry. I don't think the Raiders are gonna win the division, but they could. But in Arrowhead is a very tall order. It's a very tall order. But who knows? If these guys keep getting better and keep gaining confidence, watch out. Don't treat them lightly. We'll see. But look, everyone who said that the Raiders had some fluky wins in the past this season, it's like, yeah, you're right. Some that they won by flukes. But can you call this one a 30-20 rout where they were in control the whole game? I think the Broncos didn't even have the lead once.
Right. No, I don't think
That was a rout. It was a comfy win. I can't tell you that. I can't say that's a fluke. That's no fluke. That was a good team win, and the Broncos admit it. The best part, Bill. This was my cherry on the top because I forgot about this. When on Twitter, the Broncos Twitter is active. The Broncos or the NFL tweeted that the Broncos defense would be the best, but the the Khalil Mack from the Raiders says that we can be just as disruptive as them. But the point was the NFL thinks that the Broncos rules in terms of defense. But then the Raiders Twitter put an asterisk to that and said ruled. And the Broncos Twitter responds with John Elway laughing in the meeting room with that tweet that the Raiders said on the projector screen.
right.
So guess what? After they lost, everyone started retweeting that, and I tweeted to the Broncos. Like, are you sure you can still laugh about this? Because your defense got manhandled by the offensive line. I mean, the right side belonged to Von Miller, that's true, but everywhere else, what did the Raiders do with the running core? Run on the left, because the left side couldn't do shit.
Nope.
Hold on a second.
I mean,
Sorry about that interruption, and we're back. So, yes, I believe in these Raiders. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team now, but if I had to guess the next 3 Super Bowl winners, or 4 really, I would say Patriots, Raiders, Cowboys, and Detroit.
Detroit's well on their way. But yeah, I would agree. I could see that.
I feel like Detroit and Oakland have similar issues. Their defense needs improvement. They have some very weak spots that I think a good quarterback like Tom Brady would easily expose and make you look like a garbage team.
How about a good old-fashioned Oakland-Detroit Super Bowl? That would be nuts.
That would be fun because look, it would be 2 teams that haven't won a title in years, and in the Lions' case, ever.
Well, they've won NFL titles, but in the 50s.
Yeah, but I'm talking Super Bowl straight up, Bill. They haven't won a Super Bowl yet.
Yeah, Super Bowl titles, no.
Raiders have some with John Madden, everyone's favorite.
John Madden.
Yep. All right, Bill. I think that'll do for the Raiders. I think they're so fun to watch.
Right.
Anyway, Derek Carr. Why didn't Houston pick you up? Fucking idiots. They were afraid because of your brother. And they're gonna pay for that. Anyway, one thing to note: Andre Johnson and Arian Foster retired this year mid-season too, 1 week after the other. First, Arian Foster retired. His injuries were just too much for him, and he just couldn't recover truly. So he retired.
Sad.
It is sad, but this is what happens when when you get one too many injuries. They just keep piling on, and he's old for a running back somewhat, but I'm pretty sure he could. If he didn't get as many of those injuries, he probably would still be playing till I would say maybe 3 more years. Maybe.
I would agree.
Yeah. And then Andre Johnson retired because the Titans wide receiver core is just garbage. Him there wouldn't have made a difference. There in an Instagram post, he said he's going to return to Houston, which I don't know what that could just mean. He's going to return for his jersey's going to get retired, which I think is the most likely. I think the Texans are after this season, when it comes next year, they're going to immediately retire Johnson's jersey because he is the best wide receiver they've ever had. He's the greatest Texans player until J.J. Watt wins a fucking ring for them. But my favorite theory, this would be my favorite one, because here's the thing right now, Bill. We have 2 wide receivers out for a while. Jalen Strong's going to be out till December with a broken leg, and Will Fuller is going to be out. I think he's very unlikely to play against the Jaguars this week. So, my ideal scenario is that the final week home game, they sign Andre Johnson to a 1-week contract. He starts for one last game, and then scores a touchdown for them.
It's not going to happen because technically the Tennessee Titans hold his right.
They still do? They're not going to release him?
I would say that most teams don't release players that retire just in case players unretire.
Ugh. Oh, well, he's still going to come back to Houston, though. That's what he says. So I guess that means... But wait, Bill, here's my question. If he's retired, and they're going to retire his jersey, is he even allowed to go to the Texans stadium when they do that?
If he stays retired, yes. I mean, if he's in the middle of his retirement and he gets his jersey retired, yeah. Anyways, I think he only signed a 1-year deal with Tennessee,
so he could still come out next year and show up, and they can't stop him.
Once that time period on that contract elapses, then you'll see Andre Johnson retire as a Houston Texan. I don't think you'll see him retire anytime during the season as a Texan. I think you'll see him do that.
I still want him to come out for one more game and catch a touchdown. Maybe.
I mean, you never know. You never know. He might unretire.
Yeah. Well, for one game I'd like to see. But, Bill, that is why I am nominating these two for the Football Talks Hall of Fame. What say you, Bill?
Man.
Any objections?
I have no objections. Both were great players, and they deserve recognition for being great players for a very long time.
Arian Foster is probably not going to make Canton at all. I don't think he will. Andre Johnson, some people say it's a long shot. I disagree. He was a great player. Yes, he did not have good quarterbacks, but people don't know this. Even with bad quarterbacks, he still led the league in catches and yards at certain points in the year. And I don't mean for just 1 week, for weeks on end. He led the league in categories.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's pretty game changing.
Points, he was the only good player on their team. Now.
Yeah. Well, both of them when they were both on the field.
Right. Yes.
So I think that Andre Johnson is going to be the first Texan to be in the Hall of Fame 15 years from now. I think.
Very possible.
I'm pretty sure he's going to get in when he's first on the ballot. I think he's a shoo-in. He should get in. I don't think there's any room for debate. That depends, unless literally every superstar from the past decade decides to retire, like Tom Brady, which he probably will if he wins the Super Bowl. But unless other players like Tom Brady retire the same year, I'm pretty sure he's going to get in.
I mean, and he can be on the ballot for a long time. I mean, this is not baseball. If you don't get a certain amount of percentage, then you get dropped off the ballot in baseball. In football, you can be considered for a while. So,
yep. Who is that? Terrell Owens still, or did he actually get in at long last?
I'm not sure.
I don't think he got in because Brett Favre beat him out, which that makes sense.
I mean, typically they tried to get rid of the log jam at a certain position. The wide receiver position had quite a log jam for quite a long time.
I think it still will.
Yeah, I mean,
have you seen this past year's ballot? What it's going to be?
Brown. I mean, there's a lot of wide receivers.
Not just that, but you have Peyton Manning as well, possibly Marshawn Lynch.
I mean, yeah, that's in the future, and that's 7 years in the future. So,
but anyway, Bill, let's move on to the Pro Bowl. We're gonna nominate the offensive side of the ball this week. Next week, when the Lions are off, we'll use that time to put in the defense, which is a little more complicated. All right, Bill. Mind if I start with the QBs?
do not mind.
All right, first one. This guy's not going to the Pro Bowl at all. Tom Brady. He is the best quarterback right now, and that's because he had 4 weeks off to give. He pretty much had a 4-week handicap to see if other players can do better than him, and Matt Ryan is perhaps the closest one you'll ever get. So I've got Tom Brady going in. I won't take Stafford from you, Bill, because I think that one's specifically better for you. But I'll take this one. I've been riding with this guy since week 1, nay, before the NFL season started. You go hype up your Blake Bortles. You hype up Blake Bortles and Marcus Mariota. I stuck with Derek Carr, and you know what? 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league right now. I'm taking Derek Carr with me to Miami for the Hall of Fame game. The only other one that I will add is Dak Prescott. Rookie, I can't believe he's playing this well, but I think he's pretty much a shoo-in for the Pro Bowl, considering, well, they'll have to carry his whole offensive line with him. They need him, or he needs them, I should say. And that's how, if you want to see him play great in the Pro Bowl, you got to take them. So those are my 3 quarterbacks for this year.
Right. And I have a couple very similar ones. I have Tom Brady. Obviously, he is coming back and playing on fire like we all thought he would play. Like, he's playing angry, and that's a dangerous combination. I'll also agree with you on Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a beast in the making. You know, if we want to say faces of NFL in the future, that's Derek Carr right there. You know, he's on the rise. But I gotta go with my final one that I'm gonna nominate, and it's the hometown bias, Matthew Stafford. Mr. Stafford, all he keeps doing is bringing a team that should have lost back. And that's Pro Bowl worthy. I mean, it shows you all the intangibles in the world. His completion percentage is up. His yards are sort of middle of the road. Touchdowns middle of the road. I'm not worried about that. Completion percentage is up. And the fourth quarter comebacks and wins, and I can't go against that. That's just he's playing at a very high level this year.
Yep. The only an honorable mention for me would probably be Phil Rivers, because the more you take away from him, the better he tries to play. That's all I'll really say about that. I think he's so good, he just never gets in, even though I think he deserves it. Anyway, Bill, next is to the running backs. I'll let you start off with this one.
All right, so obviously the first one I'm going to go with is Ezekiel Elliott. He's just on fire. He's playing unlike any other rookie running back has ever played. I can't leave him off the Pro Bowl roster. He's just too good to not put on there. Next one I'm going to nominate is Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon.
Stealing my thunder, Bill. Literally.
Is very much. I like the pun there. But he's just playing at a high level again. And my last one I'm going to nominate is LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy is quietly having a sneaky good season.
Yeah. I can understand that. But he's still hurt. He'll come back, but the fact that he's hurt is hurting his Pro Bowl case right now. Anyway, so I will start now with, since you took Melvin Gordon with me, I have to go with some of my backups. So the first one, I gotta go David Johnson. I think he's the best running back in this league. I mean, the Cardinals are holding him hostage right now, but I think he runs good, he catches well. Everyone wants to say Le'Veon Bell's one of the best. I think he's just a better version of Bell, because he's less injury prone, unlike Bell, which you ever have Bell play against the Bengals, he's gonna get his knee busted. That's just a fact. It's happened twice in a year now. Don't ever start Le'Veon Bell against the Bengals. You don't want to do that. But David Johnson first, my first pick. After that, I gotta go with my boy Lamar Miller. I know he doesn't have 1,000. He's only got 761, but 3 touchdowns. He's had pretty much over a 4-yard average for every game, especially the games he's won. He's always had above 4.0. So I think he keeps it up. He'll probably finish with about, I want to say, 1,300 yards. I think that's his estimate. I think that's a good enough estimate. I think he's good. Good for Houston to keep, especially when now that they're starting to run him a little less, so that way Alfred Blue can get some carries, which lets Lamar Miller rest his legs. So when he comes back, he goes for a 10-yard run.
Right.
And then after that, the last guy I have, I wanted to put Devontae Freeman and Jay Ajayi as honorable mentions, because this last one, I think this guy's having like a all-out final. How do I put it? It's a last-ditch effort, which is a bad thing to say, but it's good for him. LeGarrette Blount leads to running backs, and oh no, he doesn't lead the league in running backs anymore because the Patriots were on a bye. That the Melvin Gordon was able to take that, but before Sunday's game started, him and Gordon tied for most touchdowns. They both had 9 apiece, and now Melvin Gordon has 11. Bush did 9-11. Subliminal messaging aside, Bill, LeGarrette Blount is he's a very good physical running back now. He's just breaking tackles, carrying lines with him, and just breaking into the end zone like it's nobody's business right now. So my 3 are Lamar, David Johnson, and LeGarrette Blount. Anyway, Bill, do you mind if I move on to the wide receivers?
Mine.
All right then. So my first one, Bill, I'm gonna steal it this time. I have Golden Tate and Marvin Jones as a duo together. Going to the Pro Bowl. Why? These two, thanks to the help of Matt Stafford, are getting better. Out of the gate, Marvin Jones was playing better. He's got 4 touchdowns, over 660 yards. Golden Tate took a while, but I think if he keeps going at his pace, with his game-winning touchdowns, with his clutch moments, I don't see why you don't send him there. Because I just think that as long as if the Lions keep getting better, sooner or later, I think they're just going to have a game where they blow a team out of the water, and these guys get 2 touchdowns apiece, 100-yard games. That's just pretty much going to stamp them into the Pro Bowl. That's going to stamp them to Miami. My next one after that, I'm going to have to go with another duo of wide receivers, because it's not just them that are one of the best duos. This is the true best duo of the NFL, if you ask me. Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree, they put clown suits on every single secondary they play against, because if you shut down one, the other one makes you pay for it. You saw Amari Cooper torch the Broncos last week, but the week before that, you had Crabtree torch the Buccaneers. So it's like, not even the Broncos could stop these two, and they're supposed to have the best secondary in the league. And they couldn't even stop the wide receiver core from the Raiders. I love these two, Bill, because again, the Raiders are so fun to watch. But my last one is going to be a slot receiver, because we all need our slot receivers, and the one I'm choosing is Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley is Dak Prescott's Jason Witten. He is his safety net. He is the one he'll turn to when things look dangerous. And you saw Cole Beasley line up behind Dez Bryant and be all alone for an easy score touchdown. It was so easy, so open. You could have put a kid right there and he'll catch the ball.
Right.
So then again, it was the Browns secondary, so there's that. All right, Bill, we will let you go on with your wide receiver picks.
All right. So I know this is going to be, but Odell Beckham is, that's probably going to be a fan vote right there. And, Odell is a good wide receiver.
I left all the other top receivers for you, Bill, so go ahead and pick them.
The other one is A.J. Green. A.J. Green just continued to beat double coverage when he was the only receiver on that team doing anything. I mean, that was all Andy Dalton had to throw to before Tyler Eifert came back. So, I mean, with how he was performing in the way he was getting covered, he deserves being the Pro Bowl. And I just got to go with the man, Julio Jones. Julio Jones just is on fire this year. He is scary. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL by far, bar none.
Yep. I can't disagree with you there. All right, Bill. Tight ends.
All right. So I'm gonna throw out a couple names that you probably wouldn't know, and then of course the name we're going to all know. The first one is Jack Doyle of the.
Oh, come on, Bill. I tried to make a sneaky good one, and you just take it from me again. I was gonna go with Jack Doyle as well.
Oh man.
For a no-name tight end, he sure is playing well.
Exactly, and that could be his slogan right there.
Maybe.
But another one that doesn't get a lot of love, but he plays for a really garbage team, Gary Barnidge of the Cleveland Browns.
Gary Barnidge?
Yes, the Barnidge. Yes, Gary Barnidge is a damn good tight end on a really bad team. All he keeps doing is catching footballs from whatever battery of quarterbacks he gets. You never know who they're going to start game to game. And the last one, it's obvious. Rob Gronkowski, easy. I mean, he's Gronk. How could I ever pick against Gronk? Gronk is one of my favorite players.
I think he's the best tight end ever already. I mean, he's got 69 total touchdowns, and he just smirks at it. He just smirks like a child, but I find it enjoyable.
Right.
He's the only one who could party. He's the only Patriots player who can do whatever the fuck he wants because he's just that good. All right, Bill. My turn now. I'm going to start with an old favorite because if it wasn't Gronk that would be talked about, it would be Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates having a quiet year because the Chargers are just so underappreciated as usual. But he's got 4 touchdowns to over 200 yards. He's just going to get better. Every catch he makes is on average just about a first down. It's average up to 9 yards a catch. This guy is a good midfield threat. So he has been Philip Rivers' safety net for a long time, and they're gonna miss him when he's gone. I'll just put it like that. Next, since you took Gronk from me, I'm gonna go with the tight end opposite of him, and that is Martellus Bennett. Martellus Bennett has 400 yards as well, and also 4 touchdowns. This guy, when Gronk was out and not at 100%, he was there making the plays. He was there just beating up any corner who was stupid enough to go up and line up against him. The Gronk-Bennett duo tight end is a nightmare for defenses to cover. I just can't wait to see how the Broncos will handle them. Next one for me. This one is a bit of a... This one might be a bit of a left field, maybe. Travis Kelce, who I gotta give credit, yeah, he threw his towel at the ref, so the ref ejected him. But you know what? You fight on, Travis Kelce. Fuck the refs. The refs are bad this year, and you know it. Everyone knows it. They need to know that they are shit, and you are the hero. You are the hero we deserve, because not all heroes wear capes. I guess they wear football jerseys.
Fight the power.
Yep, and then the last one, the last tight end. So our last player that I'll mention for this before we get to the picks is Jason Witten. I mean, today he finally woke up, but I just think now he's going to start being targeted a bit more, so he's going to get in because it's the fucking Cowboys, Bill. I'm pretty sure the whole Dallas Cowboys offensive roster is getting on here.
You never know.
Anyway, I think that'll do for the offensive pieces. Because linemen, all I think I need to say are, you just take all of the Titans offensive line, the Cowboys offensive line, and the Raiders offensive line, which let me tell you this. I know you all like to say that the Cowboys' offensive line is the best line in the NFL, but they give up more sacks than the Raiders' offensive line does. So I'm just saying, the Raiders are just as good, if not better. Anyway, so Bill, are you ready for the picks?
Indeed.
Bill,
Here
we
go.
have been tied for about a month straight now in the standings, and it needs to break sometime. Will it be this week? I don't know.
Well, we'll see. Starting with Thursday, the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens.
I think we can skim through this game because both of us have the same record. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be in the lead for the division this week because the Browns are just garbage. 0-10, baby. 6 more to go.
I'm on countdown watch. The Ravens.
Bill, I know I shouldn't make this crude a joke, but they are going to be on they're going to be on a watch as well, but not the watch we should be talking about that often.
Oh, jeez.
Someone
man.
save this franchise.
All right. So, the Sunday games: the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We have another watch here. No tornado watches, no hurricane watches. No, we have a Black Monday game. Because if the Jaguars lose this game, Gus Bradley is probably going to lose his job. But you know what? I'm sorry, Gus Bradley, but you're going to be out of a job this year. I have the Texans coming out of the bye, storming. Jadeveon Clowney will have 2 sacks, and the Texans will be running away with the division.
I also have the Texans. They're going to crush the Jaguars, and Bradley is going to get fired.
Rip the dream.
So, next up, the Denver Broncos at the New Orleans Saints.
Well, Bill, I think the Broncos are going to just bounce back. It may not be easy because the Saints play much better at home than they do on the road, but I'm going to go with Denver.
And I am going to go with the New Orleans Saints.
Oh boy, we got a difference. This one could decide who takes the lead.
I mean, the New Orleans Saints offense with Drew Brees, it's a dangerous offense. And Drew Brees is a good quarterback, and I don't trust Trevor Siemian to move the football on a very terrible Saints defense.
All right, Bill. Let's go with the next game.
All right, next up, the Los Angeles Rams at the New York Jets.
Well, Bill, after this week, I think Jared Goff is going to start because the Jets are going to take this one in a 5-2 score because it's going to be that horrid and it's going to be that much of I would say it's a defensive slugfest, but no, it's just bad football on the offense. Neither offenses are going to get anything done, and that's going to be your score: 5-3, 5-3, 2 field goals and a safety. The safety is the difference maker.
Got the Jets as well. I think they're going to score a lot more points. Just the Rams looked so good, and then they looked so bad. All right, so next up, the Atlanta Falcons at the Philadelphia.
We got a battle of the birds here, Bill, but I got the Falcons riding high over the Eagles, taking this one, going 7-3, already running with the division.
Got the Falcons winning very easily in this game. They're going to crush them. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Carolina Panthers.
The Chiefs streak doesn't end today, Bill, because the Chiefs are going to go to the Panthers, just beat up Cam Newton. Cam Newton's going to request an audience with the commissioner again because these Chiefs are not going to make him comfortable, and the Chiefs and Alex Smith will return this week to give Chiefs Kingdom another win.
Got the Carolina Panthers. I think they're going to be in desperation mode.
They've been in desperation mode all year, Bill. Tell me something new.
I think they're going to be even more desperate, though.
All right.
I think they'll barely win.
All right, Bill.
Next up, the Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, Bill, I'm going to be honest. I originally had... Okay, here's the thing. I don't think Marcus Mariota is starting because I heard he got his knee broken a little bit. And Mike Evans is on a concussion protocol. So if Mariota doesn't start, I'm going to go with Chicago. But if he starts, I'm taking the Bucs over the Bears. So I'm in a very weird spot.
Either case, I've got the Bears over the Buccaneers.
Trader Bill, I thought you wanted the NFC North to fail.
I do, but I'm being a realist. I think the Bears are a little bit better team than we initially realized. Next up, the Minnesota Vikings at the Washington Football Team.
I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think they'll beat the Washington Football Team because this Washington Football Team can't close out games for the life of them. Like, you want to talk about, like, the Lions who come out and win at the end? These Washington Football Teams can't do anything for the clutch. It's not that they blow it. Like, it's one thing if you intercept the ball or turn it over. No, they just can't put it away. So I think they're going to fall before the Minnesota defense.
I have Washington beating the Vikings.
4 in a row lost.
Yes, because Sam Bradford is not a good quarterback, and they're just not a good offensive team. And Washington's got a way better offense.
Get well soon, Teddy Bridgewater. The Vikings need you.
Here we go. The Green Bay Packers at the Tennessee Titans.
Bill, I want to hear your pick first. I want to see if you have similar thoughts to mine.
All right. Marco Murray is going to run all over this defense. So is Alex Henry. Marcus Mariota will throw all over this defense. That defense is bad. Aaron Rodgers is a shadow of his former self, and the Titans' defense is better than the Packers'
Oh, that's
defense.
fact.
I got the Tennessee Titans beating the Green Bay
I can't believe
Packers.
I'm doing it too, Bill. I'm going with the Titans as well. This is my upset of the week. I feel the Titans are playing way better right now. They are probably the second best team, and who knows, it might come down to the Texans-Titans at Week 17.
Could. So, the 4 o'clock games. The Miami Dolphins at the San Diego Chargers.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Running backs galore. Start both of them. Jay Ajayi and Melvin Gordon are going to run for over 150 yards each. But in the end, I got to go with the home team. The Chargers have just been playing overall better, whereas Tannehill is not the one that's responsible for this team's resurgence. It's Jay Ajayi. And I don't think he'll do enough.
I got the Chargers.
I will say, though, Bill, it seems that Ndamukong Suh is trying hard to break every quarterback he goes up against. You saw him wrestle Ryan Fitzpatrick to the ground. All right, Bill, next game.
All right, so the San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona
This
Cardinals.
is a gimme. This is a gimme. I've got the Cardinals. After a bye, they need to storm and take out somebody. This is the widest margin, by the way. 96% Cardinals fans, 96% say Cardinals will win. 4% Chargers. I have Arizona taking them out.
I got Arizona as well. They're going to crush them.
All right, Bill.
All right. The Dallas Cowboys at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I don't trust these Steelers, and it's for that reason the Dallas Cowboys are going to win, and they're going to be running away with the NFC first seed in hand. It feels like it's going to go to them easy at this rate.
And I'm going to go contrarian here. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are getting severely overlooked, and they're going to use that as motivation. And
I hope you're right, Bill.
I think the Steelers are going to win.
I hope you're right, Bill. I hope you are. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys here.
So, the Sunday night game, the Seattle Seahawks at the New England
Super Bowl 49 rematch, Bill. And I think it might end in similar fashion but I have the Patriots winning this game because the Seahawks, unlike last time, don't have a real running game. Russell Wilson can't even move. He's handicapped. And if there's any team that could expose the Seahawks in some way, shape, or form, it's the Patriots. Let's go 8-1 Patriots.
Patriots are going to crush the Seahawks.
Hashtag do your job.
Sunday night game, the Cincinnati Bengals at the New York Giants.
This is a saucy game, but you know what, Bill? I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're going to steal this one. In overtime, I'm feeling an overtime game coming up, but the Bengals are going to come out this time with an actual win. No tie.
Also have the Cincinnati Bengals defeating the New York Giants. I think they're too motivated to lose to the Giants.
Yes, because the AFC North is so wide open. You have to be kicking yourself if you don't win it this year.
And then the final, the following week, just in case, is the NBC Thursday night game. The New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers.
I have the Panthers getting revenge on the Saints this time, taking this one and going 4-6.
Also have the Carolina Panthers in this game as well.
All right then, I think that'll do it for this video. What do you think, Bill? Anything else to say?
I think I'm good.
All right then, we will see you guys next week.